The first thing is the Indigenous Land Acknowledgement. On behalf of the board, we acknowledge that York Region is located on traditional territory of many Indigenous people, including the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Huron-Wendat, and the Métis people, and the treaty territory to Haudenosaunee, Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and Williams Treaty First Nation. Today, this area is home to many diverse Indigenous peoples and recognize their history, spirituality, culture, and stewardship of this land. We also acknowledge the Chippewas of Georgian Island as our closest First Nation community. Members of the board, is there any declaration of interest at this time? So seeing any confirmation of the minutes, I'm going to ask Madeline and Linda to confirm the minutes. Questions on the minutes of January 24, 2024. 24. Questions? All those in favor? Against? The motion's carried. There are no presentations, and there will be one presentation in the private session later on, and there are, I believe, no deputations. Members of the board, there are two communications, 7.1, 7.2. Before I get someone to move both those, I'm going to ask Anitra just to give us a few calls notes of 7.1. It's the training by the board members, and it's going forward. So Anitra, just pull your microphones down. Look like they're all sticking in the air. Yeah. Now I can see you. Go ahead, Anitra.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair. Okay, to the members, with respect to the first communication from the Solicitor General, it's with respect to the Community Safety and Policing Act, which will come into force on April 1st. So as I've been mentioning for quite a bit of time, there are a number of increased accountabilities and requirements of actual board members sitting on police services boards. One of them will be a mandatory training required of all board members that will be delivered through the OAPSB at SolGen's behest. To the board members, you'll be registered online and you're expected to complete it within 6 months of start date to continue to exercise your authority as a member of the Police Services Board. At this time, we don't know when that training will be ready. It was expected to have been ready and tested in the fall. That has not happened. We will know more next week at the CSPA Summit.
Okay. Question, so there will be more information coming. So probably the next board meeting, there'll be some information. Give us some time to go through that. The training, I think there's 2 sets of training. If I read the letter right. So, but there'll be probably more information. We'll have another, probably a report on what has to happen on the next board meeting in March. Okay. So we're going to ask Mario and Norma to move receipt of the both communications this time. The one is to receive just from the minister, and the other one is to receive and endorse the resolution. Okay. All those in favor? Against? The motion is carried. Members of the board, there are 10 reports, and the chief would like to speak to 8.1. Are there any other reports from 8 to 10 anyone would like to speak to or ask questions on it? Any? 8.1, yep, that's being pulled. I'll give you a chance, Norma, to ask the question at the end. Any others? Any others? Going to ask Steve and Linda to approve the balance of them, 8.2 to 8.10 at this time. Okay, all those in favor? Against? The motion is carried. Chief, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. And through you, I'm going to have Deputy McCloskey walk us through the report. But as you can see, it's a direct purchase of a newer explosive disposal robotic or robot. And we'll seek the board's approval to move on the contract for that. So, Mr. Chair, through you, I'll turn it over to Deputy McCloskey.
Yeah, thanks, Chief. And since there's no one online this time, we're in virtual, we're all, look at the big screen we're in here. Everybody's pictures on the screen. So you speak, you're going live. Go ahead, Deputy.
Thank you, Chair, and through you, sir. Good morning to all members of the board. I'm going to just speak to the robotic purchase that we're looking to make. I'm going to break it into a few key areas in terms of the operational benefits of the robot, legislative requirements, and the justification for the direct purchase. The new robotic that's being sought for the board's approval to make a direct purchase comes from a company called iCore Technologies, and it's known as the Caliber MK4. The cost of this robotic is $423,000 plus taxes, and it's anticipated that it would take approximately 32 to 36 weeks for delivery of this item. Currently, YRP has two other ICOR technology robots, the Caliber MK3 and the Mini Caliber. ICOR is a Canadian company and it's based in Ottawa, Ontario. The current state with respect to YRP's large robot is that it's known as the Telerob Theodore, a large explosive robotic device. It's now 14 years old. It's outdated, it's extremely expensive to repair, and it's past its operational life expectancy, which means that it does not operate with maximum efficiency, and that impacts optimal service delivery. The proposed purchase of the Caliber MK4 would replace the existing Telerob. We'll move into the operational benefits. The MK4 controller unit used to manipulate the robot is portable, whereas the Theodore is not. This allows our explosive device unit members to set up a mobile workstation at greater distances from the hostile area without compromising connectivity while reducing the risk of physical harm to our operators. This new MK4 is more maneuverable, it's agile, and is capable of navigating obstacles such as stairs and curbs. It allows our members to be more effective in their operations, and it reduces the risk of the robot inadvertently being damaged in the process of navigating obstacles. The MK4 technology is significantly more advanced. The user interface is more functional. The display for the operator is enhanced, which provides greater member situational awareness. And the main camera attached to the robot is more maneuverable, allowing for greater inspection ability. The MK4 allows for interoperability of claws and tools between the existing Caliber MK3 and Mini Caliber. The Caliber MK4 is manufactured with a set of disruptors and render-safe tools that are compatible to those of the MK3 and Mini Caliber. Due to the MK4's overall size and weight and its enhanced capabilities in terms of reaching heights and distances due to having longer robotic arms, the ability to deliver large countercharge payloads, and it also provides a greater ability to deal with large improvised explosive device disruptions. It is of a sufficient size and weight where it actually has the ability to push or pull a vehicle and can even pull an injured officer out of harm's way. By purchasing the ICOR technology robotic, explosive technicians will be familiar with the controls, functions, and capabilities, which allow them to maintain a high degree of operational proficiency among all robots currently used within our emergency response unit. In 2022 and 2023, the large robot was used 13 times operationally. In terms of legislation, according to the Police Services Act and Ontario Regulation 3 Sub 99, all hospice rescue teams, such as the Emergency Response Unit, are mandated to have explosive disposal capabilities. The new Community Safety and Policing Act, coming into effect this April, will require all members of an explosive disposal unit, in our case, our explosive technicians within ERU, to be provided with access to a robot with remote means of performing reconnaissance and delivering of tools. Our explosive disposal technicians have utilized large robotics in an operational capacity for over 20 years. If we did not have a large explosive disposal robotic, we would have to rely on other police services for their support on EDU calls. And more specifically in situations involving render-safe procedures, vehicle exploitation, and maneuvering and towing items such as battle wagons for large vehicle-borne improvised explosives. Lastly, the direct purchase justification. The direct purchase of the Caliber MK4 robotic from ICOR would afford compatibility, and that's the key thing here, compatibility with existing robotic equipment used by the emergency response unit. It allows for interoperability as well in terms of claws and tools. And additionally, the MK4 uses what's known as a digital coded orthogonal frequency division multiplexing transmission system. What does that mean? It ultimately means that it has the capacity to send out one main signal that can be fractured off into hundreds, if not thousands, of signals to ensure that the radio transmissions that it operates on are never interfered with. And it can operate at various right angles, et cetera, without being shut down. So that's a key piece of technology for this robot. ICOR Technology Incorporated Robotics are also the sole platform utilized by the Canadian Police College. and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, where all Canadian explosive technicians, including our YRP ERU explosive technicians, attend for their basic training and recertification. YRP's ERU currently has an explosive technician who has received training through ICOR technology to perform maintenance and repairs on their robotics, which provides us with the ability to conduct service on the robot without having to send it back to the manufacturer. Subject to any questions, that's the information I can provide on this purchase.
Thanks, Deputy. Norma?
I believe you have answered all my questions as to the frequency of its use and the terrain in which you use it. Pretty well.
Thanks, Norma. Any other questions? Linda?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, everyone. Through you to Deputy McCloskey. I'm very supportive of it. Just a quick question about the direct purchase. Is there, like, it seems like such a great piece of equipment, but is there other manufacturers out there that make explosive robots? Or I just found it strange as a direct purchase, being that it seems to be so unique. So,
Yes, and through you, Chair, there certainly are other companies out there that manufacture explosive device robots. Why we opted for direct purchase in this case is because of the other two of our three robots
I
have
understand.
that
Yeah.
manufacturer, and with compatibility and interoperability being the two keys. And the other key ingredients are the training components and the serviceability, both at OPC and CPC, where our officers would receive their training. This is the brand of robot that they actually use to train and teach on. So it makes perfect sense to go away for your training and then come back and have the same item that you've just been trained on.
Right, through the chair, I totally agree with you. I understood that they were both, and the thing is, if they train at OPC and we have it, it's just that unfortunate, and the thing, I'm very supportive, but whenever we hear of direct purchase, everybody goes, ooh, like there's a big problem with it. And it's unfortunate with this is that this is the only one. I wish we could call it something else. I understood, and when I read the report, it makes perfect sense to be able to do that. I just wish there was a separate category where it's sort of like an exclusive or something and not a direct purchase, because whenever, whether it's, policing or whether it's municipalities, whenever you look at going out for a direct purchase, there's always a little bit of extra eyes on it. But with this, it makes total sense. You need to buy this piece of equipment. I just wish, Chairman, there was we could call it something different than that. That's my only point. But very supportive, understood why. And I didn't realize that robots can pull officers. So it's that's very interesting. So very supportive, Chairman.
Good.
I can move the recommendation.
Thank you. I'll get you to do that in a second. Soon as Steve, any question? You had a question?
Oh, I was just wondering, what do you do with the
Just use your microphone because you got to put it's all live stream. Sorry.
Yeah, the one no longer in service.
Thank you, sir, and through you, Chair. I did ask the same question. The old robot, because it is as old as it is and the tech is as dated as it is, it really doesn't have any realizable market value. So we're just going to actually hang on to it and keep it as a spare should something happen with the new one, and when we need it operationally. So.
Moved by Linda and second by Steve that we accept the recommendation. You had 13 in 2022 and 23. We had used the old one 13 times? Really? Yeah, I think that's kept secret, which is fine. I don't need everybody to know where they all were, but it shows to tell you that it's, yeah, I would have, I was hoping we didn't have as many as that, but maybe 13 isn't as many as maybe some other places, but yeah, I too. I think it's unfortunate there's not competition, but this is Canadian made in Ottawa, which is great. Another good point to say, and so it's good to go ahead. Okay, any other further questions? All those in favor? Against? The motion's carried. Thank you, Deputy and Chief. Okay, the next one is, I don't think there's any unfinished business, upcoming events. You can see in the International Day for Elimination of Racial Discrimination and the Board of Education and Strategic Planning Workshop is April the 8th. We can maybe talk a little bit more about the new bill at that time going forward. I don't think there's necessarily any other business. Linda? Sure.
Sorry, just a question through you to Anitra. Do we have a location for the April 8th or for that workshop yet?
Through the chair, we are currently working on securing a location. We're looking at a few options. Jacqueline might reach out to board members specifically this week and next to see what other options are out there.
My calendar's starting to fill, so I just wanted to check. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, if you've, Jack is gonna, I know, Steve offered, a site one time. If you know of any other sites, we'll find something that's, suitable forward. Okay, I don't see any others, so I need a motion. Thanks, Norma and Mario. If you would, move us in private session at this time. All those in favor? Against, the motion's carried, so,